Hi, it's Jerry with ilovervlife. I really enjoy doing portable power station reviews. There's so many applications, from those very large units to the much smaller, more portable units. And today I have a new unit to look at. This is by Pecron, 614 watt hours and a little 20-pound package. I think this is going to be a nice review. Hi, it's Jerry, and I get requests literally on a monthly basis from various manufacturers of portable power stations for me to be able to review their product and share the results with you. I don't look at them all. I really look for something that is either innovative or has a good price point. And sometimes I request some feedback from them before I look at them. And I've looked at the very, very large units, 40 plus pounds. 2,000 watt hour type units are very handy. You've seen me really put those through the test. But I've been listening to you. I get emails, I get responses from YouTube videos for the larger units of you all saying, I don't need that big unit. I just need something to get me through the evening. I'm pulling over for the night. I got a CPAP machine I need to be able to use. I don't use one, but I understand your need for one. And that machine needs to run like overnight until you can get to your next destination. You've pulled over at a campground with no power, just for an inexpensive, quick over the night until you travel to your next location, or you just don't have a lot of power needs. I got it. So I've been looking for those types of devices where you can use solar panels, either purchasing through the company, or like, let's say you have a small camper trailer and you have maybe a 200 watt panel up on top, or you might be a van dweller, a nomad out there, and you just need enough to be able to keep your phones charged, your tablets charged, maybe run a small fridge, small DC fridge, or again, that critical need for something like a CPAP machine. So Pecron contacted me and said, we've got a small unit, 614 watt hours. We'd like for you to look at it. And I looked at this one because it also has a 1200 watt inverter, in a small 20-pound package. This is it. It's not too heavy at all. I'll do a zoom in a minute and show you some of the features a little bit close up. But this is a great package. This is something you can put beside the bed, put the CPAP machine on top of it and use this in the evening. Or if you're sitting at a desk, like right over there is my desk, and you're just wanting to be able to charge up your laptop or your phones or your tablets or those types of things while you're out and about, this works well. And the good thing is while you're traveling down the road, you can charge it back up. It charges fast. And I'll give you those stats again in just a minute, or you can use solar. So it's very, very handy. So I'll show you this, but let me show you something else that I've never had a vendor do before. They provided me with this little case that comes in the box with it as well. And let me open it up and just show you what it comes with. First of all, you got that ever important charger. This is one that you would plug in. They provide a cord here. You can plug this into any AC outlet. Before I came in, I took this down very, very low. I think down to something like about 10% capacity. Charged it back up on the wall in about 2.5, 3 hours. That's fast. That's really, really fast. So, you get to a campground, you want to charge it up for your next travel, you can do that. Or you have this 12-volt accessory adapter, also call it the cigarette lighter adapter. You can plug that in as well as use it. But this is the first time I've had this happen with a portable power generator vendor. They sent a lot of adapters. So you've got this adapter that can be used that has the Anderson plug. Here, I'll kind of show you that a little close up on it. The Anderson plug, so you can plug that into those solar panel connections. This is the side that goes into the power station. So if you got Anderson plugs on the various different types of solar panels out there, that's one type of interface. But this is the one that really made me happy to see. Same type of plug-in charge, but look at here. You got your positive and negative connectors that you typically see with most solar panels. So this is ideal. Let's say you've got the, couple hard solar panels that you've got mounted on the roof or whatever you travel in, you know, a pull behind or a little small Class C. You know, this is, again, I'm looking at this as something small that you just need for temporary power for just short periods of time. Or again, you're the van nomad out there and you just need this power on a regular basis, and something that is reasonably sized and a reasonable price point too. This is a good application for that. So again, this is the first time I've had that happen, so thank you, Pecron. This is a great idea. It's smart move, smart move. All right, let's look at some of the features. I'll show you some of the connections on this. Then I've got some fun tests that we're going to put this through. Let's start with some of the connections that you see here. First of all, I'll go ahead and turn the unit on. This has two buttons, one for AC. You'll see AC out, you'll hear it spin up. Then you'll also see a DC out. So if you want to turn these plugs in here, your standard 120 volt AC plugs for the inverter, that's how that is done. And these three outputs will run anywhere from 100 to 120 volts, and they're rated total output of 1,200 watts. So we'll give this thing a shot and see what it'll run, see if it really will give us something close to that. Then we have a number of different USB ports. We got the traditional style USB-A style ports that you will see. We'll use a couple of those here in just a minute. And these are for, you know, your standard USB, charge a phone, charge a tablet, that type of thing. But what I also like to see is they've got two different types of USB-C ports for those higher power units. They've got a 100 watt output as well. This is what I like to refer as the accessory adapter that you see here, or some people call this the cigarette lighter adapter for those of us who know what those are. Standard 12 volt that you will see here, and it's rated at 10 amps, so that's a lot of power. We will try this out. I'm going to plug this up to a portable refrigerator as one of our tests, and we'll see how that works as well. Also for certain types of devices, if you've got these are referred to as DC 5525 type plugs. You can look those up if you have a need for something like that. These are rated at 12 volts each and a total of 5 amps as well. But here's something else that we're going to be trying. First time I've seen one of these on one of these portable units. This is something I typically have not seen in a portable power station, and this is that wireless charging for things like your phone. So I've got a phone. We'll give this a try and see how this will work as well. Continuing to look at the unit, we have two different forms of input. Here is a DC input. This would be something, I showed you the cigarette lighter adapter that you would plug into your dash. Here's where you would plug that in to charge. This will handle a total of 100 watts at 12 to 18 volts. So, you know, when you see your alternator come on, sometimes I'll go to 13 and a half, 14 and a half, almost 15 volts. No problem. This will charge well from that. And then this is for your solar panels or for the AC charger. And this will handle up to 400 watts of solar, anywhere from 32 volts to 95 volts. So if you can get those higher power panels, charge this unit up quite quickly. So that's a very nice feature that you have here. So let's look at a couple other features here. I'll put those down here at the bottom. Again, this is rated at 614 watt hours. This is a lithium iron phosphate battery. It has roughly about 3,500 cycles of charging. I was giving you an idea about charging. They estimate that using something like a 400 watt solar panel that you would plug into here, you can bring this unit from 0 back up in about an hour and a half. On the AC charger that I was showing you as well, that AC charger will bring it up into about 2 to 2.5 hours. That was our experience. We did that. A lot of different types of protection for this unit. They've got overvoltage, overheat, overload. If you were to accidentally short circuit one of these, it will shut it off. And then it also has self-recovery as well. Operates in a number of different temperatures, from a charging perspective, 32 degrees Fahrenheit up to 113. And then, of course, discharging, it'll run somewhere around -4 in a discharge mode, all the way up to 113. Very, very small package. It's 11.5 inches long. We'll call it this way as being long. It is roughly about 7, almost 8 inches wide. We'll call that wide. And then our height here is roughly about 8.5 inches. Two different types of output. This is your AC. Hold it for 3 seconds, it goes away. This is your DC. And your DC will turn this on. And you see right now we're at 100%. We still have 203 hours of a discharge time, no watts being pulled. You can't really pay attention to that until you start drawing from it. And we'll plug some devices in so it will draw from that. And you can run them both. Try to do this. You can run them both at the same time. So we have DC out, we have AC out. I know this is kind of difficult to see in the video here, but it'll show you how much time you have left. And of course, this will draw a lot more power because you're using an inverter and you're converting DC power into AC. So this is your less efficient use, but the most convenient use. And this is just a pure DC. You'll get a lot more capacity out of this using this function here. So nice unit. I really like this package. Good size, good power. Let's do some tests and see how this unit is going to work. So we see all the features. It is feature rich. It should power, I would say, just about everything within its capacity limits that you might have. Phones and tablets and laptop computers and run CPAP machines. And we're probably going to try to make and see if we can make some toast and some coffee on this before it's over with. But let's really put it through a couple tests that I would think might be more practical. This is going to take me probably 2 days to do this because I've got to run it down, kill it, charge it back up, and run it down and kill it again. So I'm only going to use a couple devices at a time just to kind of show, not overtax it, but again, I like to show practical use of these types of units. You've seen my videos before. So let's start with something that's kind of basic. Let's make an assumption here. We're going to pull over for the night and we're going to be running a CPAP machine. Mostly CPAP machines that I've looked at and talked with other folks who have been looking for these power stations draw about 60 watts. So I'm going to use a light bulb that has a continuous 60 watt output. At the same time, let's add a little bit extra on this as well. Let's charge a phone. Let's charge a small 8-inch tablet. And that would be, I'm going to bed for the night. I got to have my devices ready to go as we travel for the next day. So that's what I'm going to be able to use. So let's hook some stuff up and see how this unit is going to work. We're going to go ahead and start our test. The first thing that I've done is plugged in, you see this light here. This is a 60 watt light bulb. Many of your CPAP machines are rated at 60 watts, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, just depends on the unit. I've had this on for just a few minutes. We're currently at 98%, and I have both the AC and the DC operating. I'm going to let that kind of fall back just so that it doesn't shine too much. This is a little Samsung telephone. And there we go. We're going to let him start charging. I also have an old power-hungry iPad, and we're going to take him and plug him in. We're going to use this standard 18 watt USB-C port. And let's see, is he going to come up? There we go. You can see he is dead as a hammer. So I'm going to put him here on the side and let him charge. Let's add one more thing. This is my Kindle. Kindle hadn't been plugged in a long time. So I don't know how much charging he's going to have to need. So here's my Kindle. We'll get him plugged in as well. And that way if Joan wanted to watch this, read this as we travel down the road, we'll have that. Alright, so what I have right now is the 60 watt light bulb that I'm using to simulate a CPAP machine. Right here I have an old Samsung, I think it's a Series 8. I've got my iPad going, which is completely dead. I've got my Kindle that's running at about half. I'm pulling about 9 to 10 watts of DC output. 63 watts, that's what we want to see here. 63 watts from the light bulb. It's saying that this will run about 7 hours. I got a feeling that number will possibly change as these DC units completely charge up. So again, you know, can we get 7 hours? Look here, you can already see the change. Some of these units are going to be charging pretty quick. You're going to see this bounce from 7 hours or so. I think this number right here is going to change for us as time goes on. So again, this will be an overnight stop that we're simulating. Let's see how it's going to work. See you back in about 5 or 6 hours. Okay, we've been running for almost 9 hours, 8 hours and 45 minutes. So this is, you can see, there's my test light that I'm been using. I'm going to go ahead right before I turn it off, and I'll zoom in here. Let's take a close look here at the display. So at the display, we are now still continuing to run 63 watts with my supposed CPAP test. We're down, if you can see this, at 11.5%. Roughly 0.82 hours remaining. Phone is completely charged, and the pad here is sitting at 85%. So this is an old pad, but it was completely dead. It's at 85%. And the Kindle is now at, let's swipe him up and see where he is. The Kindle's at 100%. So that was a pretty good test. Now, I'm just wondering, I'm going to turn this off here and see what this jumps up to now. So we've turned that off. Still showing that we got 11.5%. And of course, that's going to jump up to, we've got 5 hours left. We know we don't have 5 hours. So the other question that I was getting a lot is, can you find a small unit that will run a portable refrigerator, one of these icebox style refrigerators? I happen to have one. Now, if we were not running continuously, almost 9 hours of 60 watts, almost 9 hours, then we would have got a lot more use out of this throughout the day with no other type of charging and no other type of input. Now think about that. A refrigerator, as I hope the test will show tomorrow, is also around 60 watts, DC only. So it's going to be far more efficient, far more efficient. And we'll go into that a little bit more as we get the refrigerator going. I'm going to pre-cool it tonight, as I would typically do before we started out on a trip, so that we don't have to burn all that energy to keep it cold. And then we'll just let that thing run, and I don't know, maybe give it 10 or 12 hours and just see how much energy we use. All right, so far, I think this little thing has done pretty good to be a little small 20-pound, 600 watt-hour unit. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, day 2. Testing out this 600 watt-hour Pecron portable power station. I think yesterday was a good test. I know it's a little different, but looking for practical use. As I shared today, we're going to do something really different. You'll kind of look over there. I'll show you a close-up in just a second. Let's see what this looks like if we're going to be running a portable refrigerator for a long period of time. It's right at 9:30 in the morning. So we're going to let this thing run as long as this power station will run. So here's what I did. Let me show it to you. So here's the setup. You'll see here I've got the added cover, or I call these a blanket for lack of a better term. And it adds a little bit of extra insulation. If you're going to have this in a hot environment like the back of a car, this really helps these to work well, and get the ones that actually are sold with the unit. Now here's our Pecron. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on to DC power. So you have to hold it for 3 seconds. That turns on. And then we'll go over here, and the unit right now is chilled from last night. It is on. I've got it on max cooling. So I'm going to set this, I'm going to turn it on again. I'm going to set it on eco mode. This will give the best opportunity, not just specifically for this, but I've already got it nice and cold. So right now, we're going to open up the lid and just try to get some cool air in here and get some power going. And there we go. I'm going to go ahead and close this now. And let's see what the power wattage draw is. The power wattage on Eco is 48 watts. I don't think it will change if I change this over to max cooling. I think it's just the periods of time that it goes. Yeah, it's this exact same power draw. 45, 44 watts. Okay, let's go ahead and put this back again. I've got the temperature set for 37. This is a dual zone, so I've got both zones set for like 37 degrees. So it's going to run 36 to 37 degrees. We're going to let this run for a while. So you can see here, right now it's saying 100% capacity right now, drawing 52, 53 watts. It's going to run for 10 to 11 hours. That's not really 100% true, and I'll tell you why. The reading that we're seeing 11 to 12 hours is not accurate for a good reason. This unit, this refrigerator, is going to turn off and turn on as the cooling demand requires. So when it turns itself off for a little while, then the power rating is going to jump up. So I think this is going to be substantially higher than 12 hours. It's going to be interesting to see how this is going to work. Now here's what I'm going to do. We're not camping right now. I'm going to just button everything up. The sun is going to be coming up, hitting the camper in just a little while. Especially when the sun gets on this side, it's going to get very, very warm. I think we'll probably get the fifth wheel up to probably about 80 degrees or so, and that's going to be a nice little workout. It's going to kind of look like a vehicle. So this is going to get this unit a little, make it work a little harder, but again, I've got this blanket on it. It's not going to work too hard. And I've got it in eco mode. That's going to help as well. So let's see how many hours. I got a feeling it's 9:30. I'll check on it again around lunch, give you an update. We'll look at it again later this afternoon as the fifth wheel gets kind of warm in here, and then sometime tonight, probably late tonight, we'll see where we're at. I think we'll put this on a good test. So let's see how long my patience in this unit will run today. Be back in about 3-4 hours and let you know where we're at. Well, we've been going a little over 4 hours now. Wait till I show you this. It's really doing a great job. Again, this refrigerator is going to cycle off and on as it reaches temp. And it's going to start warming up in here considerably. I don't think we'll probably get over 80 degrees in here today. Still mid-spring, it's not going to be too bad. But anyway, let me show you the stats so far. This is interesting. 36 degrees on both sides. Again, we're using both compartment size here at the refrigerator. I'm seeing some interesting things that's going on with the set power that I'm pretty pleased with, as well as this Pecron. So you're seeing right now, this is amazing. Look at this. Right now, no draw. It's saying 19.3 hours left. It's going to be less than that because it's cycling off and on, but we're only using 95% of the system. Now, what I'm seeing happen, there you go. You see it? It just went up to 2 watts. 2 watts. Very important. Why is that important? Because a number of these units that we've tested in the past need to be able to see 2 watts of, at least a minimum of 2 watts of power going to the system every so often to keep these awake. If you don't have that, they go to sleep on you, and we don't want that to happen. So yeah, the set power did what it was supposed to do, but I am incredibly, there it goes again. You can see the little kind of I call it a keep alive or wake up power. 95% in 4 hours, 5% only used. So we're just going to let the refrigerator run. I was originally thinking, oh, we'll give it 10 or 12 hours. It won't last long. I sorely, I think, underestimated this. I really want to see if this keep alive power requirement that the refrigerator's tapping the power station every so often, if that really does keep the power station functional. I've had other units that I've tested in the past with this specific refrigerator, and that 2 watt requirement every so often was not sufficient enough to keep it awake and keep it working. So far this looks grand, and I'm pretty tickled about it. What I'm thinking about now, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll come back. It's been running 4. We may give it probably about another 8 hours. Let's do that. That'll be about a 12-hour run. We'll see where we're at. Look, if it behaves, if it behaves, I might let this go all night and sometime into tomorrow and just see exactly how long this would last. This would be perfect, a perfect application for, again, van dwellers, small bus dwellers, campers who are doing tent camping or have the pop-up campers out there, and they're wanting this power to be able to keep their fridge and various other accessories. You know, the phones are not going to draw much. A tablet's not going to draw much. Anything that's going to be coming out USB or on the 12-volt side is going to be very, very efficient. So you throw a solar panel on top of this thing, 20 pounds, this thing may rock and roll. All right, I will see you back in, let's say, we'll just call it about 8 hours from now, and we'll see how far we're coming along. This may survive 24 hours. We'll see. I'm kind of impressed if it lasts 24 hours. No solar input, no input from, say, a car battery or the alternator or anything like that. Just this 600, it's a little warm, 600 watt hour of capacity is all we have here, and we're running this refrigerator. So it's kind of fun to see how this is going to actually work. So my goal is, would it last 24 hours? I think we're going to come very, very close to that. And again, it's going to cool off tonight. It's not going to put as much strain on the refrigerator, but then it's still pretty warm in here. I'm looking at the temperature. It's still 83, 84 degrees in here. So this is still going to cycle off and on as I would expect it to do. And we'll probably do so until probably past midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Then there'll be less demand because it will kind of cool off and the compressor won't have to run as much. But this has been a fun test. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I will see you bright and early in the morning, and one of two things are going to be happening with the Pecron. This Pecron is either still going to have a little bit of wattage left, or it didn't make it through the night. But fingers crossed, I'm betting that when I come in the morning, it's still going to have a little bit left. Okay, see you tomorrow. Good morning. Day 3, testing out the Pecron. We've had it running over 24 hours now on this set power refrige. Still cold, still lit up. Let's see where we're at. All right, let's see where we're at. Look at that. Look at that. The refrigerator just cut on. Pulling 45 watts, almost 50 watts. And we're only at 56%. We've used less than half the capacity. That is pretty impressive. We're keeping the fridge here at, you can see that, 36 degrees inside. Yep, nice and cold. Wow, that's pretty impressive. This unit has performed well beyond my expectations, especially in something in just slightly over 600 watt hours. Quite impressive. I'm quite happy with this Pecron E600LFP power station. It really did exceed my expectations. I heard you. I was getting comments from previous power station devices that I looked at of you wanting something to get you through a night so you could run your CPAP machine, but you wanted something that was a little bit more in a price performance just for those overnight stays. And then we were also getting comments of, Jerry, we take weekend trips, we need some supplemental power, you know, to charge up our phones or to be able to run something like this portable refrigerator, these types of things, but I need something that is a little bit more affordable and a bit of a smaller package as well. This is 614 watt hours, only 20 pounds, and you can see how small it is. It really did perform well. Again, there's something that we need to look at. 60 watts of a CPAP machine at 120 volts versus approximately 60 watts of constant use from a portable refrigerator is different, and here's why. To be able to convert that 12 volts that exist within this system and then convert that into 120 volts takes a lot of extra power. That's the reason we only got about almost 9 hours of use at a constant 60 watt pull. And then when we're using something like this, the refrigerator's going off and on, and we're not losing it in that conversion factor to be able to make 12 volts into 120 volts. So that's why this is performing so well with this refrigerator. As a matter of fact, it's cycling off and on, and when it's on, it says we've got almost 6 hours left. When it's off, it says we've got about another 11 hours left. So I think, you know, we could use this throughout the day and probably into the evening without having any type of power. The good thing is, if we're driving around or going from destination A and B, we could plug it into that cigarette lighter adapter, that 12-volt adapter on the dash, give it a boost as we're out on the road for a couple hours going from point A to point B. That would help it out a lot. Or, again, they provided us with a number of different adapter cables that we can plug into this unit, and then use a solar panel up to 400 watts of solar and really give this thing a kick if we're, you know, out camping, or if we're in a van or a small bus or something like that. We've got some good sunlight. We can keep this guy charged up and be able to use it. Well, if you're interested in getting a Pecron, I've got links in today's blog. You can go up here and look at it, or you can see it at the end of this video, or you can look into the description of today's YouTube. I've got links there as well. I hope you find these types of reviews helpful. We're always looking for affordable products that can be used, those that are innovative enough to be able to meet the various needs in our RV travel. We have more power stations on the way. We get so many requests of we want something high-end, we want something that's not quite as expensive but still feature rich, and we seek those out. So we're constantly contacting manufacturers. Manufacturers are contacting us looking for those types of devices that might work for your specific needs. So, you know, stay tuned and we'll have some of those in the near future. Love doing these product reviews. You got it. I love RV life too.